What's going on, guys? It's Unlock5, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be reviewing the demo, of course, but essentially Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So first off, I'm starting by saying that I am an expert in Breath of the Wild. You know, we have all the shrines done, completed all the side quests, all the main quests. Basically, the only thing that I haven't done on that game was like farm fucking giant ancient cores and get all their Korok seeds, but pretty much I've 100%ed. But I'll say I've 88% in Breath of the Wild. Let's just say that. That being said, I thought that it was only appropriate that I did make this review given how long I've played Breath of the Wild for. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. So, I guess we can start with the in-game menu. So, there's actually a lot more to this game other than just fighting fucking thousands of enemies at a time. You are prompted with like an in-game menu. There's the Breath of the Wild map in the background, and there's a lot of things you can do from here on out. So you play different missions, and of course these missions are pertain to the story. So basically what I'm getting at is that you unlock different characters while playing these missions. So they didn't let us play all of the missions, obviously. It's a demo, but that being said, I'm wondering if you can just like swap out any character at any point in time throughout any mission. I mean, that would kind of be cool, but then again, like the game pertains to the story, so I'm not sure if that would actually happen. But basically, as far as this demo goes, there are three playable characters. That's Link, Zelda, and Impa. And while you're playing as these different characters throughout missions, like at the end of the missions, there's like a certain amount of rewards that you'll get. Basically, every character has their own different set of weapons. So far, Link is the only character that has different kinds of weapons. You know, Zelda has the Sheikah Slate. You know, they call it the ancient memory part, but it's essentially a Sheikah Slate that allows you to like use every single rune that you could in Breath of the Wild, but everything is on drugs. Anyways, Impa has a Kakariko Kodachi, and Link has a whole bunch of weapons that are available to him so far. There's the Soldier's Broadsword, Lysel Boomerang, the Boko Club, the Traveler's Sword, and the Tree Branch. I think that's all the weapons Link has as far as this demo. But if you've seen like beta gameplay that Nintendo
basically
released,
while
like,
you're on
there's
the map,
a lot more weapons that
there's
you can
like
have. Probably just as many weapons
have
as
a little
Breath of the Wild,
backstory,
but you can only carry
20
weapons at a time.
You're gonna give
and
them
that brings
the
me into
resources that
this
you
next
gain
function
from completing missions.
There's a
and
blacksmith
they'll
guild,
build like
and
certain
that's
stables.
interesting. So right now we have the Lakeside Stable, the Outskirts Stable, all from Breath of the Wild, and those stables sell particular things, things that you don't get rewarded for. But anyways, within that, it's under services. Within that, you don't really need to worry about that. The main point is the Hylian Blacksmith Guild. And essentially, it allows you to fuse together multiple weapons under one character. So, for instance, like I can only fuse the 2 or 20 weapons that Link has. I can't fuse a weapon that Link would use with a weapon that Impa can use, so it's all under one character. Now, you're not actually fusing together the weapons, although that would be cool. It's not what it means. You're just fusing the stats together. So, essentially, I can have a Boko Club, and I can fuse that with a Tree Branch, and it will basically up the level and the power of my Boko Club or whatever weapon that I choose to fuse it with. Also, what's interesting is that Link has a shield. Basically, his outfit changes depending upon what weapon you're using. So, if he were using a Lysel Boomerang, he'd have a Lysel shield. If he were using a Soldier's Broadsword, whatever, he's going to have like a Soldier Shield from Breath of the Wild. If he has a Boko Club, he's going to have a Boko Shield. Just little things like that kind of get to you. You know, it's really cool. Now, in this game, weapons don't actually break, so I guess, like, you can only go up. Essentially, if I wanted to level up my Tree Branch, I could. It'll just, like, take more hits for me to kill enemies, which is probably why you want to fuse weapons together so you can make them stronger, so you can kill enemies at a faster rate. There are also different perks that you get on a weapon from fusing them with one another. So say if I wanted to fuse my Lysol boomerang with something, I can also get like just small perks. So like for example, like the percentage of your damage output while you're running would go up, or like the damage output that you have when you're under a certain amount of hearts will go up. Just like little game-changing stats like that occur when you fuse your weapon. So that's just like a little more incentive to fuse your weapon. Also, right now, I don't know. They'll probably have more weapons for different characters. Like I said earlier, Link is the only one who has like multiple weapons. But for Impa, for example, a reason why you'd want to fuse weapons together is just for like sheer power, because she has all of the same weapons, but obviously you can have like a level 20 weapon and then like a level 1. So like if you fuse a level 20 and a level 1 weapon, it'll essentially make that level 20 weapon stronger. So yeah, I definitely recommend fusing your weapons together, and yeah, it's just a pretty cool feature to have in a game. You can also sell things for rubies, but honestly you don't need to do that unless it's like a task or whatever. You're getting enough rubies as it is while you're playing in the game, so I'm pretty sure you're good. And you can also replay missions if you want extra rubies. But now let's get into the combat of the game, because that's standout for this game. All right, so I understand that this is a Hyrule Warriors game, but I mean, oh my gosh, bro, the combat is actually insane in this one, dude. Like, I haven't played any Hyrule Warriors. Like, I understand the gist of a Hyrule Warrior game, but I mean, like, it's Hyrule Warriors and Breath of the Wild. So basically they're going to take different aspects from Breath of the Wild and just like crank it up to fucking 2000. Like, you can still flurry rush, you can still parry enemy attacks, but Link has like a different dynamic in the way he swings his sword. You know, he can swing it more often. There's no stamina. It's just like constant battling, and I feel like that's what makes it so fun. So first of all, you have to understand that there are so many different ways that you can just annihilate enemies. So you have one section of combat which allows you to pull out runes. So you're obviously going to have the Cryonis rune, Magnesis, Stasis, and the bomb. So the bombs are kind of my favorite. Every character has their own version of these runes, by the way. So like Impa would have like her bomb would be a firework, and it'll cause like enemies to go up in the air, and then it'll explode while they're in the air, while Zelda's bomb is just like a big ass guardian bomb, a fat bomb with guardian legs, and it's going around dropping little bombs. And Link's bomb ability is just him throwing like several bombs at a time, you know. So like every character is going to have their own thing. Cryonis is like by far one of my favorites. I mean, Impa's, she literally rides on a block of like Cryonis ice, which you're about to see here, and you can just like literally run over enemies. Zelda's is also pretty cool. Basically hers is like dropping freezing shards of ice, and then that alone does damage, but then afterwards they're gonna stick in the ground and you can explode them on enemies. Like, there's just so many different ways to kill in regards to that. Stasis is pretty much the same. You're just freezing like multiple enemies at a time, or whatever enemy you're targeting at that point in time. It's stasis basically. And then Magnesis, if there's like things around you, if there's like a metal crate around you, you can use that. If an enemy throws like a sledgehammer at you, you can use Magnesis and control that. It's all pretty interesting. And basically the other combat section is your elemental rods. So basically after you kill a bunch of Wizrobes, based on their element, you're going to get their rods. They're going to drop the rods, and then you have them in your inventory forever. Basically you have the ice rod, which freezes enemies, fire, you know, electricity, those three. And then in that same menu, there's health. So, and all of these operate off of meters in terms of the elemental rods and the health. So I can be fighting enemies and an apple would go on the ground, and I run over the apple, and then my health meter would go up. And if it's already full, then my hearts would go up. But essentially, if I'm running low on hearts, I will go into the menu and eat and then the health meter will go down just by like maybe 13.5%. Yeah, I think you can use it 6 times before it drops all the way. But and then my hearts will like fill all the way or close to all the way. It's pretty cool. Same thing with the elemental rods. You can use them, I think, up to 3 times. But that like it carries over from mission to mission, so you really have to use it sparingly. That's probably the main reason why I found myself not using those elemental picks, and also because the runes are like so effective. With that being said, there's little shards that do appear in the battlefield. Say if I kill the wizrobe when I'm replaying a mission, then they'll drop like ice shards, and then my ice rod meter would refill. So, I mean, it all depends. It comes down to whatever mission you're playing. This varies from character to character, but your main combat essentially comprises of light attacks, strong attacks, and running strong attacks. And then you have a little special attack, which you can use as often as you like. So, Link's, for instance, is like quickly shooting a bunch of arrows. Zelda's is here's the interesting thing about Zelda's is that you actually have to use a strong attack. Her strong attack is like little cryonis ice blocks, and when you activate her special, basically whatever rune that she activated unleashes, which just basically draws out splash damage. It's pretty cool. And Impa's is my favorite, actually. She can draw out these shadow clones, and at times you can do like triple damage or like 5 times the amount of damage that you normally would do. And she can also teleport between them, like damaging several enemies at once. Basically, this game is optimized to have like all of these, like just constant combat. I mean, I think on the first level there's like at least 2,000 enemies to fight. And your strongest move, which of course builds over time, it's your special meter. All you'd have to do is press A, and I know it's going to be hard for you to unlearn that. Like, A is your main button, but use it sparingly. It's your strongest move, and once that meter fills, you can just like decimate bosses. It's really good against bosses. And that brings me on to my next point. I know we're moving a little fast, but you got to understand, this is the Breath of the Wild prequel. Like, this game is insanely good. Now, the maps are huge, all right? Like, there are boundaries within the maps, but, like, the play area is huge. And in certain parts of the maps that you're playing in, there will be a whole group of enemies swarmed by a boss, right? So, I think the boss spawns, like, after you've killed 75% of the enemies. But essentially, like, if I were going into a certain area, I'd have, like, hella moblins bokoblins, and you'd have like a giant bokoblin as like the mini boss almost. Moblins are also mini bosses, and all wizrobes are mini bosses. Now, all these bosses have a main health bar, but it's don't worry about it. It's extremely hard to wear down. But what you do need to worry about is this hectagonal sort of gauge that they have. And this gauge isn't going to be like available to you to wear down unless you perform certain actions. So like if you dodge their attacks and get to their backside, that's one way. That's it, the easiest way without prompting any sort of rune. But that's essentially how you wear down that gauge is you have to wait for a rune prompt. So say, for instance, if a moblin is charging at me, I can use Cryonis, and it will make a Cryonis ice block appear, and the moblin will run into it, and then his heptagonal gauge will be susceptible to damage. And once you get that done, you can do this like cool little finishing move, if you will, and it'll take away pretty much all of the enemy's health, depending upon what difficulty you're playing as. Like, I know if you're playing very hard, then it'll take away like half of the enemy's health. But if you're playing like any other mode, it'll probably almost kill the boss, or it will completely kill them. But yeah, that's pretty much it so far, aside from being able to order people or your allies in terms of where to go. So like if I'm playing a Zelda and if I want Link to go basically meet me halfway to a certain location, then I can pull up the map and actually direct the AI of where to go. It's pretty cool. And then like say if I want to play as Link, but I'm so far away, I can literally have the AI bring him somewhere, and then once he is there, I can switch characters and be there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the demo really gave us, and there's so much already. I mean, there's different kinds of missions that you can play. There's like limited time missions where you have to defeat a certain amount of enemies within the time limit. There's like just maps where like bombs are prevalent and you can just blow up a bunch of enemies. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, if we can get like 100 or so, or maybe even more than 100, but like at least 100 missions for the full game, I feel like we'll be good. You know, I know that there's going to be missions that allow us to pilot and control divine beasts. I mean, oh my gosh, bro. I can't wait for this game. There's the Yiga Clan side story. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Definitely expect gameplay. Just raw gameplay, live commentary, edits, everything. I'm actually going to make another playlist. Like, that's how much I am in love with this game already. Dude, I'm going to make a playlist for Age of Calamity. Expect gameplay, nonetheless, to come out on this channel of Age of Calamity. Guys, I love you all, and thank you for watching the video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.